This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Today seems to be the day of vaccine mandate news. I don't know why I said it like that. All over the country, Republicans are pushing back against vaccine mandates, even though, one, they work, and two, they protect Americans. They are a viable option in the fight against the coronavirus to end this pandemic and finally get back to what will be our new normal. Finally. Republicans don't care about that. Republicans have never cared about that. That was obvious over the course of the entirety of 2020, with Donald Trump promoting hydroxychloroquine and shining light up your ass and drinking bleach or whatever else. Other nonsense conspiracy theories that came our way via the president, the ex-president. But there are companies that are pushing back against certain states. There are certain states out there that are banning vaccine mandates even for private companies. Let's take Texas. That's specifically what I'm going to talk about today. But take Texas, for example. It is strange. Republicans in Texas act like they are the defenders of liberty and freedom and creating an atmosphere where businesses can operate unmolested. And yet they are imposing bans. They are going to punish companies who follow the federal vaccine mandate guidelines. It doesn't make any sense. It's opposite of what they claim to be and who they claim to support and represent and protect. They are not the party of business. They're the party of chaos. They're the party of owning the libs, the party of damaging Biden's agenda. Even if that agenda is trying to protect the health and welfare and safety and livelihood of American citizens. Reading from this article from the New York Times, American and Southwest Airlines reject the Texas order banning vaccine mandates. American Airlines and Southwest Airlines, citing federal requirements, said on Tuesday that they would not comply. They would not comply with an order from the governor of Texas barring private employers from mandating coronavirus vaccines in the state. So much for freedom. So much for allowing a company to operate in the manner that they see fit, that is best for them. Texas is now ordering companies to operate in the way they think they should, which flies in the face of the philosophy that Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick and Ken Paxton would say that aligns with their philosophy. Governor Greg Abbott, a strong opponent of vaccine mandates, issued the order on Monday saying inoculation against the coronavirus should always be voluntary for Texans. And a spokesman for American Airlines said, "We believe the federal vaccine mandate supersedes any conflicting state laws, and this does not change anything for American." Again, that was from a spokeswoman for the airline, which is based in Fort Worth. Southwest, which is based in Dallas, said it would remain compliant with the federal mandate. The Greater Houston Partnership, a business group that counts ExxonMobil, Chevron, and JP Morgan Chase as members, also came out on Tuesday against Mr. Abbott's order, saying it does not support Texas businesses' ability and duty to create a safe workplace. President Biden announced last Monday that federal contractors and their employees would need to be vaccinated with limited exceptions. Like other major employers, American and Southwest cited that requirement and their status as contractors in announcing that employees must be vaccinated. Mr. Biden also announced that workers at companies with more than 100 employees would have to be vaccinated or tested regularly, but those requirements are dependent on new rules that OSHA has not yet issued. That requirement will cover tens of millions of workers, the administration said. Healthcare workers at institutions that receive funding from Medicaid and Medicare are also required to be vaccinated. Now, this is where the battle completely breaks down for Republicans. They want to act like this is about freedom. Well, how about the freedom to run one's business in compliance with federal guidelines. But the federal law here absolutely supersedes, is supreme, if you will, over state law. Greg Abbott is but a governor. He does not wield the power to negate or override federal requirements. Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, accused Mr. Abbott on Tuesday of putting politics ahead of public health and said federal laws superseded state and local ones. The administration will continue to pursue the expansive mandates it announced last month, she said, adding that business leaders who had already introduced mandates had reported positive results. Beyond the legal aspect, which is unquestionable in our view, the question for any business leader is, what do you want to do to save more lives in your company? Ms. Psaki said. A spokeswoman for Mr. Abbott said that the Biden administration had, quote, left employers with the unfair choice of either violating federal regulations or losing their valued employees, and that the governor's order was enforceable by state and local law enforcement. Let's read that sentence one more time. A spokeswoman for Mr. Abbott said that the Biden administration had, quote, left employers with the unfair choice of either violating federal regulations or losing their valued employees. Their losing that they're talking about, the form of the word they mean, the conservatives, the Republicans, the ghouls, is meaning that they're going to quit their jobs. They're going to lose their employee. Where in the grander scheme of things, a vaccine mandate is going to prevent losing that employee to death. Which is more important? The life of a human or a job? I mean, this has been the question the entire time. So they out of one side of their mouth, some of them say, go get the vaccine. It's very important. It's going to save lives. And then out of the other, to placate the QAnon dum-dums, they say, well, vaccine mandates are anti-freedom. When it's all about protecting our neighbors, our grandparents, the most vulnerable among us in our society. What does that tell you about Republicans? This is not about freedom, because I also possess freedom. You also possess freedom. And you should be free to go to the grocery store without fear that the person in the checkout line in front or behind you is unvaccinated and breathing their filth all over you. Their freedom stops where you are to be infected. What's the saying that the freedom to swing your fist stops at the tip of my nose? The same thing could be said of the invisible virus that has killed nearing 750,000 Americans. And Republicans do not care. It's like they're running interference for COVID in an attempt to kill more Americans, a greater number of Americans. What do you think, though? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can email me daily at dollemore.com. I get a lot of emails, a lot of voicemails, as you would suspect. Being someone who's an internet personality, I wouldn't consider myself YouTube famous. Let's just go with an internet personality. But I get a lot. I go through them every morning, cup of coffee in hand, and go through. And I'd love to hear from you. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore all the way across the board. And Instagram, that's a good time. I'm starting to use Instagram more. Twitter, at Dollemore. Anyway, if I bring you value, if I bring you a smile to your face or some information that's useful to you, I'd love for you to support my work. Consider it. Click the join button below this video for as little as $2 a month. You can become a channel member, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.